Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the 5.5 Trigonometric Functions. It is a new syllabus for Matriculation College. So let's have a look at this learning objective. There are only two learning objectives. The first one is finding the domain and range for the trigo functions, and also sketch the basic graph of the trigo functions such as sine, cos, and tangent. There are only three trigo functions that we are going to draw to sketch, which is sine, cos, and tangent, where it is only involving a linear instead of the sine, cos, and tangent. Okay, remember this, it's only involving a linear instead of the sine, cos, and tangent. So let's have a look at this example 1. We are going to sketch y is equals to sine 2x. So 2x is a linear. So before you answer the question, maybe you should read the problem very carefully first. So we must always check on whether we got a linear or not. So if we have a linear instead of the bracket, it means that yes, it is in the syllabus and we can do it very nicely. So here goes. Y is equals to sine 2x, then we need to state its domain and range as usual. So before we go to the sketching part, we need to do few steps, step 1 until step 4. If you can look here, we need to find its amplitude first, where the amplitude means this part. This is the amplitude. If you have learned physics, you know what is amplitude. It's sort of like the height of the graph. Okay, the height of it. And then we need to find the period length. The period length, in this case, one period, the period length is from 0 to 2 pi. So basically, this is the length is 2 pi from 0 origin. So in this case, we need to find its period length for this question, for this problem. And then we need to find the phase shift, okay, it's shifting part. And then the last one is the interval of one cycle. So we have a formula here, we just follow the formula there. Okay, so basically all these steps is important and need to be memorized, because if you memorize it, it's much more easier to sketch it. Okay, so now we need to go to find the first part, the first step, which is the amplitude. So the amplitude here is modulus of A. So A is actually, if you look here, this is A. A means the amplitude, the coefficient of the sine. Okay, and then Bx plus C is just the linear inside of this bracket. So the A is 1 and the B is 2. If you look here and compare it yourself, the B is 2 and the C is 0. So it's very easy, just compare it with this original formula. This is the formula, okay? Just use it, and then you just find the amplitude, which is the modulus of 1. Sometimes it's gonna give you modulus of -1. So if there is a modulus, it means the amplitude is always a positive unit. So the amplitude is 1 unit here. And then the period length, we have a formula, 2 pi over modulus of b. So in this case, our b is 2, therefore the period length is pi. And then the length of each x-intercept. So basically, what does it mean by that? So let me write down the answer first. So it is pi over 4. Okay, why do we need to divide it with 4? So basically, pi is just the period here. This one, the period pi. The answer, whatever answer, period length that you have here, you have there. Then you divide it with 4. This is just a common sense. Why do we divide it with 4? Because each of this part is in this in one cycle there is 4 region, isn't it? There is 4 region. It means that there is a 4 critical point, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we call this critical point. So there are 4 critical point, and sometimes I call it x-intercept. We just need to find the x-intercept whenever we sketch a graph, isn't it? So therefore we divide it with 4 because we need to find the x-intercept. Okay, and then the phase shift. So the first shift is actually negative c over b is actually coming from, let me delete this. I want you to understand where is this coming from. It's very easy. It is just from um, this part here, this bracket here, bx plus c is equals to 0. Therefore, when you make x as a subject, you will get negative c over b, isn't it? So basically, you are trying to know where it goes, where it shifts to the left or to the right. In this case, just now I said negative c over b, isn't it? But if you do not prefer to write down negative c over b, you can just write down 2x is equals to 0. Therefore, x is equals to 0 then. Ataupun if you still want to use negative c over b, it's okay. So you just figure out that the c is 0 and the b is 2, therefore still you get a 0. Same anyway, right? So the value of x is 0. It shift to nowhere. There is no shifting at all. Okay, and then the last part here is interval of one cycle. So you need to write down the formula like this. Bx plus c means the linear. In this case, our linear is just 2x, where it is in between inclusively 0 and 20 and 2 pi. Yeah, basically originally one cycle is from 0 to 2 pi, isn't it? And then when we have a new linear 2x in the middle here, so we can make x as a subject, and we can know that, oh, in the end x is in between 0 and just pi. Done. So basically you need all of this information before you sketch, and then we are going to sketch now. So what I did here first, step by step here, is I draw the x-axis. So let me show you what I did first here. This is x-axis. I must write down that first, and then y-axis. And then you can see here what I put here is 0, 0 until pi, and I put a dotted line there. Can you see a green dotted line there? So that is important for the first step, because this is your cycle. This is the important cycle that you want to sketch. Just in between this cycle, it's enough. You don't need to sketch more than that. You just sketch between this cycle only, okay? So, and then you must have the amplitude, isn't it? The amplitude is 1 and negative 1 because of the position of it. So you can write down the amplitude is 1 and negative 1. And then don't forget to put this, as I say, the dotted line, so that you know this is only the region that this is the only cycle that we want to draw inside here. And then you look at this carefully. This is a positive sign. So a positive sign means it's going up first and then going down. So the sketching will be like this: up first, then down here. So just like that. And all you need to do is just find its intercept, find its critical point. What is this? What is this? What is that? Yeah, that's it. You are almost finished. So basically, you just need, you just put a line there, small line there, and then you just draw a curve here for the first part, and then another part. Just make sure the height is 1 unit only, okay? And then your job, as I said, is to find this critical point. We call this critical point, okay, CP, or x-intercept. So we need all those x-intercept. So as I said just now, this is to find the critical point. All right, this is to find the critical point, isn't it? So the critical point say that it is pi over 4. The length is pi over 4 from the first cycle until the end of it. So the first cycle is pi over 4. So for 0 plus pi over 4 gonna give you what? Gonna give you pi over 4 then. And then pi over 4 plus width. pi over 4 because the distance is the same. The critical point, I mean, the length is the same, the length of the x-axis. No, the length of the x-intercept. So, and then you plus it again. You plus, and you will get pi over 2. And then you plus again. You will get 3 over 4 pi. And then you try to plus again. You try to plus again with pi over 4. You will get 4 pi over 4, which is pi. So basically, this pi over 4 meaning the length, to find the critical point, to find each of these intercept, that is how it works. So when you have all of these points, when you have all of this critical point, it means that you are drawing a perfect sketching graph, So you are finished and just label it. You must label x, y, and z. No, x and y, and then label its name of the graph. Y equals to sine 2x. Done. And don't forget its amplitude as well. And last part is to find the domain and the range. So the domain is negative infinity until infinity. So please don't put the ranges from 0 to pi. So it's actually continuing kind of sketching graph, that. So if you look at Desmos, the graph is actually flowing from left to right, okay, non-stop. So that's why it is called as infinity to infinity. But the range is special. The range is very short here, from down here to the bottom. From the bottom here to the top here, it's -1 until 1 inclusive. That is your range. Your range is a bit different than the domain. Done. Let's go to the next problem. But it is still sine problem. So we need to sketch y is equals to -2 sine 3x minus pi over 2. So don't you be panic about this one. This is still a linear. Okay, let me write down for you. This is y equals to positive a. Yeah, remember that. This is a sine bx plus c. So basically, our a is -2. Our b is now 3. And then our c is negative pi over 2. Right? So you don't need to worry about it. You just follow the same steps here. So step 1 is amplitude. So amplitude is -2. But we must put a modulus. Therefore, the amplitude is 2. Amplitude is positive 2. It's okay about that. Okay. And then next step is the period length. So we must use the formula. The period length, 2 pi divided with the modulus 3. Because the b value is 3. Therefore, the period length is just 2 pi over 3. Okay, that is our period length. But it's not necessarily from the origin, no. It could be anywhere in between in the middle part until 2 pi over 3. Okay, and then the length of each of these x-intercept, the critical point, in other words, it's called as critical point. To find the critical point, let me write down nicely. Yeah, to find the critical point ataupun nak cari x-axis, x-intercept, so we need to do 2 pi over 3 divided with 4. Yeah, we divide it with 4, yeah? And then we will get pi over 6. And then the phase shift here. The phase shift here, I know I give you a formula, but I think I would prefer if I use the linear here and make it equal to 0. So it will become 3x minus pi over 2 equal it to 0, and therefore my x is equals to pi over 6. So it's shift. So it's shift a bit. It is shifting. How many units here? It shift pi over 6 unit to the right. Okay, because since this is a positive unit, it shifts to the right. So I know it's shifting to the right. If you know about shifting method, you understand what I'm saying. So here goes the interval of one cycle. So you just write down its linear, which is 3x minus pi over 2 just now, like the same thing. And then don't forget to put the formula, which is from 0 to 2 pi. And then you make 3x as a subject first, step by step, yeah? Slowly. And then 2 pi plus pi over 2 going to give you 5 pi over 2. And then you make x as a subject in the middle part here, and then therefore we will get x is in between pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. So basically in one cycle, this is in one cycle, our starting cycle is pi over 6. This is the starting cycle. And the end cycle is 5 pi over 6. So 5 pi over 6, yeah? So this is what I did. This is my rank. Okay, I need to do the ranker first so that everyone knows the first things first is to do its cycle. The cycle means the dotted line. The first part of the drawing is, it's better to draw the limit of the graph, that, so that we focus only one cycle dulu. Bukan kita tak nak lukis semua cycle serentak, bukan. Kita just nak fokus supaya kita tidak careless, And so we just focus between of this cycle. The beginning of the cycle is from pi over 6. And then the end of it is 5 pi over 6. And so don't forget to put its amplitude. The amplitude is 2 and negative 2. So that is also important. So I make it a bit higher because the amplitude is a bit bigger. So I put it a bit higher lah. And so we need to know that this is negative sine graph. So negative sine graph is starting from 0 below down here, and then it going up. So the graph will be going from here, below down here, and then going up, down there. This is the end of this cycle. So this is going to be like that. This is below part here, and then the above part here. That is our graph. So let's draw it then. So I just put it in the middle line here, the critical point, so that it's easier for me to draw it. So this is the height of this amplitude, which is 2 unit. Okay, it's very important for you to buat rangka dulu, baru senang untuk melukis. And then at the end of it, you put another half of the cycle, which is upper part of the sketching. So there you go. This is one cycle. And this is not complete until you must touch the origin also, It's not completed. It's like, what is this here? What is this here? We need to draw something there. So you just need to continue and knows what is the intercept of this. Is it going through number 2? Is it going to 2, or is it going a bit below or more than 2, So something like that, you need to figure it out, finding whether it's going to 2. So just put this 0 inside of this function, and then you use your calculator, but make sure it's in radian, and you will find out that it goes to 2. So the graph is actually continuing half of this. It's going to touch this 2, but not, just there, and then stop. So we still need to draw here, until it touches our 0, because it's not completed if not touching the 0. So last but not least, is to find each of this critical point, each of this intercept, that? So we already have the beginning and the end, but we still not yet have intercept here, left here. So yeah, we need to find it, but we have a help here already. We know that the distance from one critical point to another critical point is just pi over 6. Yeah, that is the distance. In fact, this is the shifting part. We know you see, it's shifting to the right-hand side from 0. Can you see that? From 0, it shifts sebanyak pi over 6 unit. And so, yeah, as you all understand already that the distance from one critical point is pi over 6. Therefore, I will add from pi over 6 here. I just add pi over 6. And then I get 2 pi over 6, which is pi over 3. And then I add again with another pi over 6. I will get 3 pi over 6, which is pi over 2. And then I add it again with pi over 6. I will get what? I will get 2 pi over 3, which is 4 over 6 lah. So 4 over 6 plus with pi over 6, you will get in the end 5 pi over 6 in the end. So basically, setiap satu ni, the distance is just trying to plus with its length of its critical point lah. Just tambah saja dengan the distance of this part from the beginning here. This is our beginning and this is our end cycle, isn't it? So make sure you need to know what's the correct value for the x-intercept, in order to find the x-intercept, to find the critical point, the length of each, the distance. I would say it's better to say it's the distance, the distance from each x-intercept to another x-intercept is pi over 6. I think you understand why do we divide with 4 already, because each part of this is 1 region, 2 region, 3 region, and 4 region. That's why there are 4 regions there. There are 4 critical points, isn't it? That's why we divide it with 4. And therefore, it is the completed graph, the completed sketching graph. And at the end of this, please don't forget to write down the domain. The domain is from negative infinity to infinity, tiada penghujungnya. Dan range-nya pula adalah from negative 2 until 2 unit. That's it. That's the range of the function. Therefore, completed. You can get 3 marks for sketching graph, and you can also get 2 marks for correct domain and the range. Good luck in trying to sketch the sine graph. Thank you.